Water has been one of humanity's oldest sources of energy. Today, it accounts for roughly 16% of the world's electricity, more than any other renewable source. In this lecture, we'll explore how a hydroelectric power plant works, from the potential energy locked inside a reservoir all the way to the electricity that reaches your home. The core principle is beautifully simple. Water falls, spins a turbine, and a generator converts that spin into electricity. But the engineering behind it is anything but simple. Let's break it down step by step. A hydroelectric plant has several critical components working together. At the top, we have the reservoir, a large artificial lake created by the dam which stores the gravitational potential energy of the water. Water is controlled by the intake gates, then travels down the penstock, a large pipe that carries water under high pressure to the turbines below. The powerhouse contains the turbines and generators. Finally, the water exits through the draft tube into the tailrace, a downstream channel that returns it to the river. Let's look at each of these in detail. The entire process is an elegant chain of energy conversion. Water in the reservoir holds gravitational potential energy, determined by its height, or what engineers call the hydraulic head. As water descends through the penstock, this potential energy converts into kinetic energy, the energy of motion. When that fast-moving water strikes the turbine blades, it transfers its kinetic energy into the rotational mechanical energy of the turbine shaft. The shaft is connected directly to a generator, where the rotating magnetic field induces an electrical current. This is electromagnetic induction, discovered by Michael Faraday in 1831. The output is electrical energy, which is then stepped up by transformers and sent across the grid. The dam is the most visible structure. Its purpose is twofold: to impound water and create sufficient hydraulic head, the vertical height difference between the reservoir surface and the turbines. This head is critical because the power output of a plant is directly proportional to both the head and the flow rate of water. Double the head, double the power, all else being equal. Engineers express this with the formula P equals rho times G times Q times H times efficiency, where rho is water density, G is gravitational acceleration, Q is volumetric flow rate, H is the net hydraulic head, and efficiency accounts for real-world losses. The penstock, often a steel pipe several meters in diameter, carries water from the intake to the turbines, maintaining the pressure built up by the head. Not all turbines are the same. Engineers choose the right type based on the head height and flow rate available at a given site. For high head, low flow sites, think mountain rivers, the Pelton turbine is used. Water exits a nozzle as a high-speed jet and strikes cup-shaped buckets on the wheel's rim, spinning it by impulse. For medium head sites, the Francis turbine is the most common in the world. Water enters radially and exits axially through the runner, transferring energy both by impulse and reaction. It's highly efficient across a wide range of conditions. For low-head, high-flow sites, like runoff river plants or tidal stations, the Kaplan turbine is preferred. It looks like a ship's propeller and has adjustable blades for maximum efficiency as flow varies. The turbine shaft drives a synchronous generator, essentially a large electromagnet spinning inside a coil. As it spins, it induces an alternating current at a precise frequency, 50 Hz in India and Europe, 60 Hz in the Americas. This output voltage, typically around 11 to 16 kilovolts, is far too low for long-distance transmission. A step-up transformer raises it to hundreds of kilovolts, dramatically reducing transmission losses. At the other end, near cities and towns, step-down transformers reduce the voltage back to safe levels for homes and industry. The entire grid is a carefully balanced system. Generation must match demand at every instant. One of hydroelectricity's most powerful advantages is pumped storage. During low demand periods, excess electricity from the grid pumps water back up to the reservoir. During peak demand, that water is released again, making pumped storage the world's largest form of grid-scale energy storage. However, large dams are not without impact. They alter river ecosystems, displace communities, and trap sediment. Modern plant design tries to balance power output with environmental flow requirements, maintaining enough downstream water for ecosystems to survive. Hydroelectricity will remain a cornerstone of clean energy, especially as the grid integrates more intermittent sources like solar and wind. Understanding how it works gives you a foundation for understanding the entire energy system.